Yeah, sure. So let's dive into our next research idea. So that is marine electricals. So I started looking at this company in 1 month back almost when the market cap was around 770 crores. And since I am a person who is looking for more micro caps, so nothing better than talking about a micro cap in this kind of session. So price was 61 that time. Now it is around 73, which was the highest that point of time. In between, it went to 80 rupees also. Stock PE was very less, and book value was 14. And of course, standalone versus consolidated, these numbers will change here and there. What I am looking for is towards ROCE numbers and ROE numbers in a micro cap here, which is more than 10%, and they are on increasing side. Pledging is zero, and I feel debt to equity is reasonable actually here, which is zero point 0.3 only. So that's what, okay, a micro cap with good returns on capital coming up, and promoter has skin in the game, which is close to 73%, 74%, and very low debt. So the ones I try to find out that kind of a stock, I will try to deep dive further. Okay, what is happening in that space? What are the tailwinds or the order books, what they're getting? So first I try to understand the business, and business is nothing but it's just they're in the field of electrical automation. Now, when you're looking at only electrical automation, you will get a lot of names in the space. Okay, there are big players also, there are small players as well. Where they capture the market is they are doing it for ships. Now, the moment I read about that shipping part, marine business, it got hooked to me. Why? Because there is a tailwind. As we understand from Saurabh in the morning session, when the tailwinds are there, companies can do wonders. And the moment I saw the shipping part of it, electrical automation in the ships, I see there are a lot of orders going on in the shipping industry, right? Cochin Shipyard, GRSE, and you just name it, Mazagon. So every company is getting a lot of orders recently. So when they're doing it, what is the company which is trying to do that automation, electrical automation in the background? So I tried to figure out whether those companies are part of as a client list for this marine or not. And it's not a surprise, right? Looking at the field in which they are operating, they should be the clients. And I found, yes, they are the clients of this company. So other question that comes to my mind when you're looking at this kind of business is it sustainable? Shipbuilding is a very long process, right? It takes like 3 to 4 years sometimes to build one ship. And after that, for example, if somebody is doing it for Navy or somebody is doing for commercial, they will just suffice. They will order 2 or 3 ships, right? Maybe maximum five, maybe. And it will take like 3, 4 years to do that. How it is going to sustain that kind of orders basically in the coming time? There comes the operation and maintenance of those things. So once the ship is handed over to Navy by Cochin Shipyard or Mazagon or those kind of big players, how long they are going to maintain it? So you can see that those ships are being maintained for 20, 30 years actually. Once the ship is built, it is there for 20, 30 years. And who is going to service it? Of course, they will come back to Cochin and Cochin Shipyard will go come back to Marine. Now, is there any timeline for servicing this kind of ships? So I went into that thought process, and I understood every 2 to 3 years, every 5 years, every 10 years, just like our scooter goes for service, our bikes, our cars have a time limit for servicing. These Navy ships, these commercial ships also have that kind of a timeline. And based on that, they will be turned as operational and maneuverable to the long distances as well, if they are fit enough. So that fitting certificate has to come basically for these kind of ships. And where I find Marine is also handling that part. So a lot of small orders of 2 crore, 3 crore, 4 crore, 5 crores, and that has to be done over 2 years maintenance period. It is coming to Marine. Now, looking at 770 crore company and talking about 2, 3 crore order is not fitting in somewhere, right? So I need a little bit more conviction on why I need to find or build this stock further. Okay, what is my thesis? Is only 2, 3 crore order or something else is also there? Is this electrical automation is going to sustain in some other part of businesses as well? And there I start finding, okay, not only they are doing this low energy, low and medium voltage engineering solution, electrical engineering solutions in different parts, but they're also doing for the different kind of buildings as well. So where I got hooked on the data centers part. Now, data center is one thing where you will figure out, okay, a lot of things are moving on the cloud and a lot of companies are going towards building data centers. Some are building the real estate part of data center. Some is building the server part of it. And Marine is into providing the electrical part of it. So data center is upcoming theme. It's going to grow big. And the company which is trying to do it is Marine, again in the background for it. So that now I have a combination of something unique things, one on the marine space and other is coming from the data center space. Both themes have tailwinds in the next 3 to 4 years. Now, apart from that, are they trying to do something, a mundane work? Yes, they are trying to do that as well. So a lot of other industries like automotive, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, all those small players, they are trying to service as well. So that means small expenses will be taken care by the regular industries, and there are some tailwind industries where they are trying to move forward with a big force. So that's the simplest thesis I can put to you if you want to understand, okay, why marine electricals. Now, if you look at the Navy side or the shipping side, so a lot of submarines are coming up, lot of frigates. Frigates is nothing but those kind of ships which are supporting the main ship. So a big ship is going for fighting, right? Or maybe in the sea space, a lot of other ships accompany it as a protection, basically. So unka bhi aapko, you have to do that electrical automation. Those are very small ships, basically. So those kind of things, then the aircraft carriers, Indian Coast Guard, small boats and everything, and then commercial vessels and inland vessels. So what is the significance of this commercial and inland vessels? Now, if you go down and try to see the tailwinds part of it, I will cover the other part of it as well. We have been going through some of the Sagarmala kind of a project in India, where the idea is to connect the different waterways and take the transport or logistics through the shipping part of it. So that project is also underway, and that project has been unveiled 1 or 2 years back, and that has been under a good progress. We have seen through Shreya Shipping and Lancer Containers earlier also, this kind of system is needed and it is work in progress. That's where, if you try to judge this commercial vessel and the inland vessel part, there you will see a lot of things, or a lot of the small companies will also trying to procure those kind of ships. Now, these ships will not be looking for 20-30 years. They would be small ships. They will be doing faster navigation across Indian ports for for taking the things from one port of Indian west side to east side or east side to west side. Why it is requiring inside India itself? Now you can imagine a very big ship is coming from US. Very big ship is coming from Middle East. Very big ship coming from the China side or Russia side of it. They cannot dock at every port. You need a big ports to just dock them. India doesn't have such big ports. Only 2 or 3, basically. So they will come and dock at the biggest port. All the things will be downloaded there. And then these small ships will pick it up and pass it to the other parts of India. You think of a company which is on the eastern side of India, and they feel the shipping charges from the west side of India is cheaper when they have to transport to the US or Europe or Middle East. What they will do, instead of going through the truck mechanism, they will go through the shipping side, which will travel through the eastern coast, come towards Sri Lanka side, and come to the western coast. It reduces the shipping time as well. It reduces the cost of logistics, and then the transportation cost also reduces further to other countries when you're doing the export. So these inland and the commercial vessels also is a big space which is coming up in the next few years. That is the thing which caught my attention, and I felt, okay, marine is in that space, and this is a much needed requirement for the industry. It's like not a luxury; it's a needed thing. Now, employee strength 1,000+, which is very good actually. Manufacturing plant 6, and you can see that they are towards the coast side of it, and plus 2 plants in UAE and Italy. They have 14 service centers. Some ship breaks down. They have different 14 service centers across the coastal line to help those or solve those problems of those ships. Apart from that, they are venturing into some different segments. Some may be coming up. It feels like, okay, it is a sunrise industry, but sometimes you will feel it's a diversification. They should not venture it, but somehow they are doing it to just spread out the revenue and try to latch on to the fast revenue generating or fast growth opportunities. That's what the thought process in the behind. So one of them is they are moving towards EVgo Charge, where it will supply the complete ecosystem of chargers with software, hardware, and the service part of it. So very less companies do all the three things together. They either provide the software or they will provide the hardware or they will do the service. So this is one of the company which will do all three things together. And they are, so again, electrical vehicles, either you are a person who will believe in that EV vehicles will grow, or you belong to a group of people who will feel EV will not grow. The people who will think EV will grow, you need a lot of charging infrastructure. And that is one hindrance where why EV is not growing. So that perception in your mind, or that hindrance that if my car breaks down in between, how I will charge it. So once that infrastructure is in place, things will catch up faster. And that's where I think this company is trying to do certain things through EVgo Charge. Another company is STI, which they're trying to do in terms of renewable energy. So that's a EPC company. So that is kind of an infra, and they're trying to do everything towards taking the site and the site project management and the execution, installation, everything they're trying to do, kind of turnkey projects basically. But again, this is what I feel is little bit diversification of this company, and their main segment is what is data centers and the marine electricals. This is where we need to focus upon. If these two themes are not working, then this company I would not be interested in actually. These two parts I would feel is more of a bandwidth they are trying to take away from the main structural trend winds. But on the other hand, you will feel that renewables is also coming up. EV charging space is also coming up. But I feel, okay, there is a lot of competition in this space and the margins may not be good enough in the longer run, and they might spend their bandwidth, their money towards this space. So I would be more focusing on data centers and the marine space. So if coming to data centers, who are their customers? So if you see, their customers have been in the past is Deutsche Bank, STT, and other global companies, and they have repeat orders from them. So that means data centers are expanding and the customers are giving them the repeat orders. So both things are happening. So basically the segment is growing. On the industrial side, again, different sectors we have talked about: automobile, pharma, steel, cement, and here also they have good Cipla, MRF, those kind of clients as well. Then they are trying to do this high-rise building kind of electrical automation and other things. So there they're trying to get a tie-up with the real estate builders. So Loda is one where they are able to do it. And then they're trying to do something on the building management system. So everything in the building or the mechanical parts of your lift and other things are controlled by a remote system, which is building management. Okay, you can control the exits and the entries and lightings and all those parts basically. So they will do the complete electrical automation of the high-rise building and control it from the central room itself. So this is a good space. Again, this will be complemented by data center theme itself. So this space is also looking very exciting. Now, what they do, they will just do the wiring or some other parts. No, they will do the complete system basically. So it's an integrated platform management system where they will provide everything. It is basically they will generate the energy and distribute it also. So these are big, you can say, systems which are required. It's not simple, okay, just putting a wire on the wall and drawing it to a room or a center specifically. They will have all this kind of switches and everything there along with that. So they will process what power is required, how much to be sent there, and they will accordingly have the software to manage it in the background. So that's what they're trying to do. Similar big systems are also required on your ships as well. So this is on basically industries. Similar systems are put on the ships as well. So in the ships, what they're trying to do, they will have the full system, basically power supply, power management, power distribution, everything. And then they will manage it. So it's kind of a single room, single platform they will give the control to the captain of a ship or a very common room or the main room from where they can control everything, every part of a ship basically, whether it's mechanical or it's something else. They will offer a complete system responsibility. Lighting भी चलेगा उससे और आपका ships का mechanical part भी remotely controlled होगा वहां से. So that is what is their theme. Now they have some solar power solutions, as I told you, from that STI company. So that I'm not focusing on, and that is I feel is still a very nascent stage. And until it comes up on a very big number, I will not be interested in this part. Now, what is the strength and trigger? Theme we understood, but is it backed by the right people? So we have seen that they have some good people associated with them on the post of operating officer. So there is a commander who has worked in Indian Navy actually for 20 years almost in different capacities. So now they have that understanding of a ship. That is very much important. You go to a new player and try to get that electrical automation, you will not be satisfied because the other company might not be understanding it better. Somebody who has done it on ships already, somebody who is who understands the intricacies of a ship. Okay, this is a stealth room, this is the war room, this is the this room discussion, what is required there. Those kind of people, if they are in the operations, which is Commander Rajiv, so he is CEO, so he understands it, and he's leading the company from 2006 itself on this part. So this is a very good confidence builder. Okay, you have the right people who can understand this part. Another is Commander Shami Puji, who is again doing the product development. So he is doing the operations, he is doing the product development on the similar side. So he has also gone through multiple companies in between, and he has been aware of the multiple war systems also. Some sonar, missile, everything. You can just go through. I will share this link to you for details. Basically, he's one more person who is coming from the right domain towards this company. Now, when we are saying the third domain is something diversification, but still for that, they hired somebody as a solar business consultant who has been working in this electrical and renewable industry for 30 years actually. Although I'm saying it is not a field which I'm looking for, but the companies or the management, how much serious they are hiring the right kind of people towards that each segment. And this definitely gives me confidence on the management that they are working in the right direction. Now, some key customers we have already discussed: SCI, BHEL, and your GE, all this Majagan Dock. You will find the prominent names there basically. L&T Shipping. So this is what into commercial and defense as well. So you can think of it as a company which is also as a proxy to defense also. So not only shipping as a structural theme or data center as a structural theme, but proxy to some of the defense thing also as well. And then some other big groups you have seen here: Lupin, Cipla, Tata Communications, MRF. Okay, so Medani. So all these players are part of their customers as well. Important point is what is their order book size. So I have it says very staggered information which I tried to collectively join in a simple Excel sheet, and I tried to see what is the order book from December to September, last 9 months basically. When I tried to study this stock, I found that by adding up all those orders, basically we are landing up to around 480 crores. So it's a significant order book basically. And recently also they have some more orders came after September. So we are looking at around 500 order crore book. Now here you can see the segments. I try to list the segments in from which the orders are also coming. So I see data center is a prominent space. Marine is also a prominent space, which I'm looking for. So mainly the orders are coming from the direction which I'm looking for. And again, the customers or the clients, we can see that the big players like GRSC, Goa Shipyard, again, those kind of players, Majagan Dock, Cochin Shipyard, Hindustan Shipyard, Larsen Toubro. So those are the very big players in the defense and the shipping side, and they are giving them the orders. So you can see that some of the orders are repeatedly coming as well. And the segments on which the order is coming is mostly towards electrical and the LT panels. So this is what is coming on the operation and maintenance side. You can see that B&D spares is also coming up. Basically, spare parts are also required. Now, I have talked about the shipping theme basically on the Sagarmala projects in inland waterways. Another thing is what defense is requiring. Defense is requiring 6 submarines, then 7 frigates, 1 destroyer, 4 survey vessels. So there is a big orders lying with the big players in the shipping industry. As the ships are getting built, so electrical automation will also happen for those ships. So that will also, those kind of orders I am seeing that it will be coming to your company, Marine Electricals. Now, this is one part of it. I tried to went deep and try to understand what are the next phase of ships or the other things which can be coming up. So here the aircraft carriers, destroyers, survey vessels, warship, again diving support vessel, fleet support vessel, patrol vessel. So lot of these kind of ships, cadet training. You can see these number of ships are good in number actually. So it's not a kind of 2, 3, 4, 5, which I was initially thinking of. They are significant numbers in the coming years. On the other hand, they are also looking for the shipbuilding projects of Navy directly. So where again we have different varieties and the number of ships are 115. So that means in the coming years, this 500 crore order book will continuously be there, or even more, it will increase further. And I think the market has recognized this part. And the recently, if you see the even in the downturn of September and October, the company has gone from 770 crore to 930 crore. So it has moved 20% up from that point itself. Despite having those corrections in the market, it is not breaking down actually. So, so there are some other data which I have presented. You can just go through. Now, the third segment, which is not written anywhere, but then when you go and try to deeply understand this company, you will find that they are trying to go into metro site. Now, this becomes interesting because metro is expanding. Again, a theme which I feel, okay, metro should be part of every big city in the coming 10 years. I'm looking 10 years down the line. Okay, yes, I feel Bangalore metro will expand. Delhi is already there. Bombay, Pune, Chennai. You just name the big cities, you will see, okay, metro is coming up. And they're trying to get the orders from that. So already they have started for Nagpur and they are bidding for cities like Mumbai metro. So if the this is broken down to first few orders in the Mumbai, then Mumbai is a big city, right? It requires a lot of lines. Another thing which they're trying to break up is on the Indian Railways. So that means these two segments, which we are already aware of, as Saurabh talked about, Indian Railways is having a tailwind, and Metro, I am thinking it's there already. Shipping part already we know. So that means they are into the right segments for the next 3 to 5 years. So that brings a little bit more confidence on the electrical part. Definitely charging stations, it's a upcoming theme, but I feel the margins would not be there. A lot of competitions will come here actually. They don't have any kind of moat basically that they will win that space. Right to win is not there. Okay, now who are their partners basically? So in the electrical space, they are tying up with Schneider Electricals, one of the big names basically. So this is basically 50% market share by Schneider Electric in the block set panels. Now, when they're tying up with that kind of a client or a customer or a partnership, basically, you will get that sense that yes, they are capable. The other company is also looking them as capable. And that means once you have the right management, right theme to work, right tailwinds, and the right trust by the clients, okay, this company is capable of doing the things, then of course, the things will start working in that favor of a company. On top of that, the moats when I talk about, I feel this is the biggest moat. High entry barrier in marine. You will not get that approvals very easily. And here you have 2, 3 persons in the management who understand the intricacies of the ships, Navy ships as well as the other ships. So here the approval and everything takes a lot of time. Even if the other small companies come into picture, they will need 2, 3 years to break down that space. By that time, they will grow big here also. So I feel that is a very good mode for this kind of a company. And they have all the certifications definitely, otherwise they wouldn't have been qualified. Now, if I look at financials of this company, 2020 onwards, they are growing at a good pace. Almost they are getting 2x in 3 years as a sale. and their operating profit margin is stable. Actually, this is space is stable. My initial worry about for this kind of a company was they would not have big margins. Yes, that turned out to be true, but they are able to maintain those margins over years. So that means they have some moat basically. Then, if you see and go check the cash conversion cycle, which is on the decreasing trend, even the working capital days is on decreasing trend, and the ROC is increasing actually. So that means they are doing all the right things, which will change the financials for better. So it is looking as a promising space. Some other numbers I tried to see for the micro caps. Current ratio, whether the company is going under solvency or not in the coming time, it is a very good number basically for a 1 year perspective. Interest coverage ratio, 6 is also a decent number for such a micro cap. So I feel okay, yes, they are able to sustain that for next 2 years. At least they will not go bankrupt. That's how it is looking. Debt to equity ratio is under control for me. Operating profit margins are increasing, although they could not increase beyond 10%, but still they are able to maintain that. So coming to the valuations point, I feel okay, they are looking as a reasonable valuations considering the tailwinds. Again, I'm taking the cue from Saurabh's PPT today that we have to be forward looking basically. Trailing P doesn't matter. So if we look at the tailwinds in these sectors, I feel the PE is reasonable, and I expect this company to go by 20 to 25% year on year for next 3 to 4 years. That is what I am anticipating for this kind of a company. So I would be happily giving at least around 30 to 40 PE over years basically. So my projections would be coming for, okay, financial year 24, 25, 26. Okay, after financial year 26, we should be hitting somewhere 30 to 40 PE after having this much growth. So that means there is a potential to go bigger. So then comes the technical part of it. Is the technical showing the same thing, what we are trying to anticipate? So we feel, yes, technicals are also highlighting that. So a big cup and handle is in progress initially in September when we took this entry. So we took this entry here actually. So you can see it was not breaked out at that point of time. But if you understand the business, you can generate this alpha here itself. So that was my first session of today, right? In the keynote address. If you combine both the things, if you can visualize it much earlier than the market, if you can visualize it much earlier than the other big participants, you can definitely get some alpha out of it. So if you see, the volumes are also there basically. It has started coming up, not a big number, but as the numbers will start getting delivered, then volumes will also start coming up. Now, if you want to see like this, you have to see the volumes basically. Over the years, volumes have increased or not. Possibly might be retail is buying right now, but these volumes are increasing. And charts are also showing accordingly. Now, in the recent drawdown of this Monday to last Friday to this Wednesday, what happened for this stock? You can clearly see a big hammer forming. Basically, it went down and pulled up very fast on the upside. And it is able to take the support of your cup and handle, which has been done in the past. RSI also is showing the right trend basically. So where I picked it, almost at the bottom of RSI basically at that point of time, and which it was able to go down and come up on the technical side. So technicals looks promising. If it breaks and sustains 75, 80 plus, I would definitely see touching the old high. And after that, I'm looking at if the things are on track on 20-25% growth coming up in the coming year and the next year. I'm looking at a potential doubler here at least for now. I cannot visualize 10x at this point of time. We need to see how the things are building up for this kind of a company. But potentially, I'm seeing doubler from 60 rupees. So that is what I can visualize at this point of time. Now, there are some risks associated with this company. So after my purchase also, we saw that, okay, there are some GST notices which came in October 2023. Now, company has explained it, why it is a mistake from tax department, but this was a hit in between that came. Apart from that, there was an ongoing NCLT case where they have bought something, but did not came to them basically. So they have applied for the refund of this amount basically. So this happened in September when I started this position. And on October 4th, the notification came that the case was dismissed and company is expecting this refund basically. So that is also sorted out basically. So these are the two major risks which I feel are sorted out in terms of finances. But looking at structure, yes, electrical business has a high competition, but I feel their strong relationship with the shipping side definitely should sail them through along with some repeat clients from data center space. Two businesses which I feel are diversification are EV charger and solar panel. We have to track them carefully. It should not just suck up the profits, basically from the marine or data center space. So we have to be very careful from that part, basically. So yeah, I am almost at the edge of presentation close. Almost 30 minutes I tried to talk. It might have went a little bit faster for all of you, but I will share this article with all of you. Whatever I have written, you can go through and let me know about any questions or further queries or the risk, what you feel about it. For time being, you can ask the questions now if you understood the company to some extent. So yeah, any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Puneet, this was not part of any of your portfolio, right?
This is part of my microcap portfolio.
Oh, okay, okay.
Puneet, Yogesh, this side.
Yeah.
First of all, a very nice and lucid presentation there. Just one question: they are limited to this marine uh, only, or have they plans to go to other verticals like aerospace or where there
Okay.
is a need for electrification?
Yeah. So their moat and their specialty is towards marine. And I feel
Okay.
the capability that company has and the current capacity and the current employee strength, I think they have enough orders in hand from that space itself. So I would be happy that they should not diversify currently towards aerospace or some other part of it and fulfill whatever is on plate for them.
Mm-hmm. No, no doubt. Shipping is, one of the, upcoming sectors which we look at. But I am only looking at that particular cake where, they are doing only electrification type of, work. But as is there any difference means, say, for example, they have, commanders from the Navy itself who are, very well aware of their industry. So it absolutely makes sense. But when it comes to electricity or this electric automation, then I think there is a wider dollar
So
$1 billion business industry there when it
So
comes. Yeah.
yeah, so I got your question. Though the point here is when the companies are very small, right? This is micro cap company actually, so not more than 400 crore sales basically. So
Hmm.
in the smaller space, they need lot of time to come up to a stage where they can bid for the bigger projects. Most of them they would be technically qualifying, but they are not big enough to qualify. That is one hindrance also happens with the micro cap companies actually. So
Hmm.
until they tie up with the bigger companies, they show their capabilities of
Right.
the bigger orders. They
Hmm.
cannot even bid. So I have seen this with Avantel as well. They are not able to bid initially, and as they have grown up, they are able to bid faster. I have seen this with Valiant Communication. They have very good capabilities in microcap space, but until they have tied up with Tejas, they could not bid actually. So once they tie up with Tejas is done, the fortunes of that company has changed. So similarly in this space also, I feel until they come up to an
Hmm.
extent where they can bid for the bigger platforms or the bigger order size, I
Hmm.
think they should not diversify till that point. It would not lead to good returns for them. And I feel
Got it.
yes, the scope is big. We need to see how they will grow up to that extent. So longevity side, I see yes, they will sustain for next 10 years. And I hopefully by that time, I think it will have some of the answers which you are asking, basically. We
Just
should see
one
that.
point to add over here. It bits a lot of conviction since power is one of the sectors which has long way to go, and it is directly or indirectly related to this because the power consumption is going to be massive in coming years. So you know how NTPC, APAR, and everything is growing. So this will also fuel this up. So
Yes.
anyway, in a nutshell, again, a very, very beautiful and lucid, very clearly articulated presentation. Thanks again.
Yeah, Vinaji, your question.
Yeah. Who is the big player in this domain?
So you can have, so I'll just go to this screener part of it. You will see all the big players like Hitachi Energy, CG Power, and all those players basically. Siemens, Schneider. So they are the big players basically, but none of them are specifically catering to the shipping side.
हाँ नहीं वही शिपिंग में ऐसा कोई बिग है क्या जो
नहीं, big नहीं है. So L&T is one where they are trying to do it something internally, something they are trying to divert to this kind of players, but nothing is specifically from the known companies which I am aware of.
So it's a very big opportunity for them.
Yeah, correct. So already we have seen they've gone 2x in sales in 3 years. So that is itself is showing that tailwind structure basically.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, if you have any more questions, please put in the chat. I will answer there, and then we should move on to the next presentation already. So I think next presentation is by Pankaj.
Yes.
Yeah, Pankaj, you can start sharing your screen. Let me just see if I have enabled that.
There are two Pankaj. You have to make both of them as a host. Okay. Only one you can make as a host, right?
No, I can make both actually. Looks like.
The one without photo, yeah.
Yeah, I have made it. So yeah, we are able to see your screen.
Yeah. And that. So this is hello. Can you able to hear me?
Yes, we are able to hear you.
I just wanted to introduce before we jump into the discussion on the company which I am going to present today. So my name is Pankaj. I lived here in Dubai, so I work here in one of the MNC company. I am taking care of their business development for oil and gas, green energy, as well as the data center business. So if anybody wanted to have a word with me one to one, my number is already available with Puneet, so you can talk to me. So the company which I'm going to present right now is the Exhicon Event and Media Solution Company. So this is a recently listed entity as on the SME platform. So what this company do, they provide the 360-degree services to major events, conferences, as well as the exhibitions happening in India, outside of India, as well as here in UAE. So the current market cap of this company is around 340 crore Indian rupees. Today's share price is roughly 275 Indian rupees per share. So this is very first company who listed in the equity market, catering to this particular industry. So just wanted to brief you about Exhicon, what Exhicon do, and what is their business model. So they established in 1997 with a mere capital of, let's say, 2,300 rupees. I met a couple of promoters in their offices. So this company is providing the full array of product and services, mainly for the trade affairs, event sectors. They provide media to integrated marketing solutions. They provide temporary as well as permanent in event infrastructure and managing and organizing all these events. So they are operating around 26. They are operating from India more than 26 plus years, and they pride to call them as an Indian multinational SME companies. So they have offices in India, UAE, Switzerland, Thailand, Hong Kong, and they have sales offices around 25 plus countries, and they executed a lot of events, exhibitions, more than 50 plus countries across the globe. So they promote themselves as a they cut this Exhicon into 3-4 main segment, like exhibitions like business to business, business to customers, and government to government. In terms of con, they have conviction, conferences, and congresses. Events, they manage every segment of the large format of the events, not like small wedding function or something like that, but they are into the big corporate event like insurance event, or let's say recently they executed the G20 summit for Pune. So it's one of the prestigious moment where client would not prefer to go with any small companies who doesn't have any capabilities and experience in house. And extended business, they recently started corporate food and beverages segment. They have all the data. They have some companies under their umbrella who can do the data analysis as well as research associated with the events. They have the business center in Dubai and B2B matchmaking and corporate communication. They are the only company, like they are the pioneer company who started, the trade fair affair associated with event and exhibition as an industry in India. So they are the pioneer of selling that magazines within India. So just wanted to brief, like before we jump into any sort of discussion, we should know what industry we are talking about and why we wanted to deep dive further in this industry. So exhibition industry is not yet recognized in India as an industry, right? So they are still in the talk with the government to give some sort of industry license or industry level within India. So this industry is currently at a very nascent stage, right? And if we compare that with China and Europe, we are almost nothing in this part of the world, like in India. And they are going 20+% CAGR in India. Uh, if I may share some the market size for China and Europe for financial year 2022, the Chinese market in terms of exhibitions and events is around $5.5 billion, and Europe market itself is $12.6 billion. Uh, and in India, it's around $4.7 billion. But the organized player are not that great. Yes, the events are happening, but it is not happening in that professional way, which supposed to happen. But it started. They started a lot penetrating into this exhibition center, and we can see the development within India, like Pragati Maidan and some of the major events. Lot of events are now happening. And as we know that we are moving from developing nation to the developed nation, certainly this segment or this busy industry will boom, because it has happened 20-25 years back when China and Europe at the developing stage, and they started this industry, they started this booming 20-25 years back. And now still they are exhibiting a lot within China as well as Europe. So some of the major events, like in global events, if you can ask, lot of events happening in Germany, Hanover, Houston, Frankfurt, Berlin, Munich, Cologne, Milano. So I'm talking about each and every industry they are catering, like let's say tiles exhibition, paint exhibitions, textile exhibitions, the exhibitions associated with child toys. There are exhibitions associated with the jewelry. There are exhibitions associated with the marine. And similar to that, oil and gas, data centers. Recently, we attended this exhibition here called Jitex. So it's purely based on the technology. So now, what I mean to say, in the developed nation, the exhibition is a bigger trend, and we being an India and Indian companies, we wanted to focus that particular segment because it contributes a lot. So in terms of developed nation, the contribution of this industry is around 1.5 to 2% of the overall GDP, whereas India, we contribute hardly 0.1% of the GDP value. With these exhibitions, other related sector certainly contribute almost 5% of the GDP. So let's say some event is happening, let's say in Dubai, right? So let's say ADIPEC is happening in Dubai. So it's a second largest oil and gas event. So people are traveling by their own, like with the aeroplane. They using the taxis. They use the hotel bookings. They go around and explore the further areas of that country. In that sense, it roughly contributes the 5% of the GDP growth, and we are at a very nascent stage. And these percentage, whatever I'm talking about, it does not include the actual trade which has happened between these exhibitions. Like some of the foreign countries came to meet marine electrical in India, right? So they will do some trade. Let's say $5 million or $10 million of business. That percentage we have not counted here. You can correlate these things with the IPL when it started long time back in India. There, if you see that type of, and like if you see 10, 12, 15 years back, what IPL was and what IPL today, you can see the substantial changes in that event, how they operate, and it significantly contributed to the growth of the country overall. Recently, our new government promoted this conference tourism. So it estimated value as per the government is around 25 lakh crore Indian rupees. So we are talking about roughly $385 billion. So it has everything. So they wanted to promote this as a part of tourism, so that people will come here from across the globe, and they will be invited, or they will be participated in the conferences and the exhibitions and the events, and certainly it will boom to the country as a country. So these events and exhibitions will certainly lead to the growth of the each and every sectors within the country, as I discussed earlier. So it acts as a catalyst to the nation's GDP growth. So certainly it will add some value. So in short, the exhibition is a critical player in this exhibition industry, and it is a proxy to the Indian GDP growth, certainly. And I personally feel that Exhicon is a very small fish in this very large pond size of opportunity. And I personally feel that it will be a structural growth story growing forward from here. So estimated, roughly the market size now is around $8.7 billion in 2023. In 2028, it should be more than $8 to $9 billion. So this is the industry outlook. More details about the rapid pace across the world, as exhibitions are a power pool unable to the trades and economic growth globally. So it will certainly propel, various nations like Europe and Asia used to do this exhibition, as I discussed earlier. They use as a business platform to propel the regional economic development and the investment within the country. And I don't know how some of you might have visited the exhibition, so you can understand what type of exhibitions we are talking about. These are the prime exhibition destination globally, which Exhicon intended to. So they wanted to benefit from the dominant market position and the growth opportunities available in India. So we talk about a lot of businesses. We came across with a lot of industries, companies, when we discuss about the stock or we invest in that. So most of the companies will promote their products and services through such exhibitions. So we feel that we having very good growth opportunities within India. So improve the existing services and improve the new avenue as well as opportunities. So whatever avenue we have right now, it is not capable to handle what type of flow which we are expecting in India. And the Indian government as well as some of the key players are planning to expand their own conviction and the conferences, major event, like they are planning to build this as a event center within India on the different locations. So this is also required to explore the strategic acquisition as well as investment opportunities and possibilities within India, and to build existing technological architecture to continue and strengthen the existing platform. So there is one concept which I came across a few months back, which is called geo-cloning concept. So when we say cloning means, you have to copy paste. Similarly, what's happening in the various part of the world, we need to clone that and we need to implement the same model to the India. So that is the concept where with this geo-cloning concept, we can implement the same what happening in the developed nation right now in US, in Germany, or in Europe, or in China. The same thing we can also implement, and Exhicon has a plan to have this concept implemented here. There are few players available in the Indian market. It is not that not to that big scale, but there is a company called Party Cruiser, another company called E Factor, which is recently listed in this particular segment, and there is another company called Praveg. But none of these companies, they like Exhicon considered as one of their competitors, because they don't have the capability which Exhicon has, which is one of the mode that they have. I will discuss that in the next slide. So this is the complete value chain which you are talking about, and this is yet to explore in onto that scale. So when we want to do some big event or exhibition like G20, it required a lot of planning. Like what is the plan, what they wanted to include, what they wanted to achieve from it, then feasibility studies. We wanted to see pre-sales promotions as well as the preparation, like avenue booking, which avenue they wanted to do. So G20 happened in various part of the world, like it has happened in Kashmir as well as Pune, in several part of the world. So it required a lot of planning. They manage everything starting from zero to end. Like they involve themselves into the booking of the venue, financing of the like selection of the venue, licensing with this lot of partners, because if they wanted to go with the temporary facility, they wanted to have generators, compressors, lot of rented companies to be contacted. So they do this all these things during the planning phase. Then also they wanted to have the proper database of the exhibition, with whom they wanted to contact, and then how to contact. They prepare these printed media, they circulate in the digital media, as well as on the banners they display on the various part of the India. Then actual sales, they also support to the exhibitors to do the actual selling of those tickets and booths and the reservations. Also they coordinate with the parties involved. They do the booth design. They take care of electric arrangement, speaker arrangement, sound arrangement. They also take care of everything starting from the visa arrangement, flight booking tickets, hotel booking tickets, hotel bookings, their food, beverages, their recreation, everything they do. So pre-event preparation, they do a lot of stuff. After the successful of the event, they take the feedback from the customers and they try to improve. So one key part here, client prefer to go with the same company if they successfully execute one event, because they don't want to take any risk if they want to change any particular partner. And the biggest thing in this case, uh, uh, biggest risk in this case is the order booking is not an issue for the company, but the main risk is to smoothly execute the exhibition or a event for which they got the order. So this company has a very good specialization of delivering major events in India as well as across the globe. So this is the complete value chain they are catering. So this is one of the mode that this company has. They are catering to the each and every segment of this particular chain. So what they provide is a 360-degree event solution, as I discussed earlier. They provide hospitality, food and beverages. They take care of media part. They do sales and marketing. They do have their own conviction center in Pune, which is MES Global. So they exhibit a lot of biggest event in Pune. Also, they have some event IPs like Global Kokand, Washi Pune Industrial Expos, and then Hospital Design and Infrastructure Expo. And there is another event called Edil's Social in UAE. So these event IPs they have, so they can only do these things, and they know all the know how about these events. And this trading and real estate is another part of their business, but that doesn't come under the umbrella of media solution. It come under their parent group. So key facts about that, as I discussed, they have around 20,000 square meter of temporary event infrastructure, indoor and outdoor. They have the experience with Messe Global. They have the JV, around 17-acre multi-purpose event venue in Pune. They are the world largest exhibition space and selling agencies. Worldwide offices that they have in India, Hong Kong, and in UAE as well as in Thailand. So as I discussed, end-to-end service provider for large format of the events, and they have some exclusive IP as I discussed earlier. So they have served more than 10 plus state governments. They are in contact with, and they executed a lot of jobs for 23 plus central government departments, 60 plus corporates they have associated with. They are involved in they exhibited the events for more than 15,000, sorry, 1,550 exhibitors associated with 25 plus trades and industry associates, and organize more than 200 plus organizers in India. So key business segment is that mainly the two segment, which is service to the exhibition organizer, as I discussed, around 80%. It's a revenue coming from that segment, and 20% is coming from their own exhibition centers. Recently they have found out one place in Nagpur, which is in Mihan Special Economic Zone, where they have planned to build their own conviction center in Nagpur, considering Nagpur as the center of India, and they wanted to promote Nagpur as a hub for these similar type of events, because it's a center of India, so anybody can travel easily across within the India to that particular location, and some political parties are also based there, have a very good presence, so they wanted to promote Nagpur as one of the centers. So certainly it will boom to the overall development of Nagpur. So in terms of revenue split by geography, 90% coming from domestic market and internationally 10%. So they have done a lot of recent acquisition, like Impes Global. They have done the acquisition, which is basically the database company. So they use that data to promote themselves into the international market. So they have recently had 100% stake buy in that company. They buy around almost 51% stake in Malpe Industrial Estate here in Dubai. So they are major organizer and event management company here in Dubai. So I am talking about the promoter, which is a Sarthi, which is holding and which is running the main show. So Mr. MQ Said is the first generation entrepreneur. He started his company with a very small capital 25 years back. He has very good experience in conventions, fairs, media, and hospitality business. So he was till date he was involved in the operational activities, but now he moved out of operations, and he's currently focusing on the strategic alliances, finding out the companies, as well as to involve in the major events and the exhibitions happening in India. So G20 he personally involved in the lot of big meetings. He's a very good fan of our current Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. It has started with Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit. So it started 20 years back. And, we can see the development happening in Gujarat in last 20 years of time. And I think, Vibrant Gujarat is a global summit. It has given lot of fuel to promote lot of events and exhibitions within India, because they have seen this growth in Gujarat, though, so they wanted to replicate that on an Indian level. So as you know, our government already promoting as a land of opportunities. They are more focusing on the conference tourism. So it will be a big potential, the industry, which I personally feel going forward from here. So I met this promoter as well as another gentleman called Nitin Minocha here in Dubai. So I got a lot of insights about this company and these exhibitions as an industry. So these are the several promoter group of companies. Some of them they have planned to delist, or some of them have planned. These are out of these two companies like Coco Digital as well as DG Global. They have planned to have the fresh IPO in next 1 or 2 years of time. So that will be certainly will be beneficial to the existing shareholders. So they got a lot of rewards and recognition in the market. You can go through it. So these are prestigious awards which they got, and the recognition was they got from the various part of the world. So as you know, recently we completed the G20 summit in Pune. So they are the exhibitor of G20 summit. So the delegates came from 22 to 23 different countries. So they have taken care of everything of those delegates. Some of the events, like last 2 weeks back, this event happened in Mumbai, which is live living legends Living Legend show in Mumbai. So they were exhibitor of that. This is one of the event which they sign, 10 years of long term contract. This is basically one of the biggest and oldest show of Festival of Horses, which is the north part of Maharashtra. So it has heritage of more than 300 plus years. So they will be managing that going forward, because they feel that it has to be professional way. So certainly they will add value to this exhibition as well. This is the event which they have done for 1 day event as a general insurance festival of India. So all the insurance companies came there and showcased their capabilities. So this has got Guinness World Record, and it has managed by Exhicon as a company. So order value for this is around roughly 8.6 crore, and for that they required 12 days of preparation, and in 1 day they got in 1 day of event they got 6.5 crore. It's very good feat, feather in their hat. And then whatever event happened, G20, so whoever came as a delegates, they appreciated our capabilities managing those events on the global level. So we have that infrastructure and appetite to host such a big events within India. So these are some of the photos of the exhibition they have organized earlier. They also manage this Dubai property show. They also conducted this first ever international temple and conviction expo in Varanasi in UP. This is the Maze Global, which I'm talking about, around 7 acre of land. They exhibited a lot of big events and the uh, concerts, fashion shows in these premises. Coming back to the numbers, in financial 2023, they have sales of around 60 crore Indian rupees with a EBITDA of 12.5, with a net profit of 9.2 crore. So you can see the changes in the EBITDA as well as profit. So the guideline, if we ask about ROE and ROC of this particular business, ROE is around 79% and ROC is roughly 101%. And debt to equity ratio is very minimal, which is 0.05, and currently trading on 37 PE. So if we go with these total sales as well as expenses, so they in initial years like 2021 they incurred a lot of cost, but most of the events that are happening, 80 to 85% material it is reusable, so they are keeping in their store and they are using whenever there is a new event is coming up that side. So in terms of current market cap is around 340 crore with 9.20 as a net profit. Based on the discussion with the management, they are very much confident to maintain the growth rate of 100% CAGR for next 3 years, considering the business visibility. As I discussed, this industry has a industry tailwind, so long-term visibility is there, and certainly they have planned to go further. Currently, I personally feel it's available at a valuable, reasonable valuation, and estimated growth of sales is roughly 300 to 350 crore in 2026 financial year, and OPM of roughly 18 to 20%. So they will be certainly posting the PAT of 65 to 70 crore. So if we consider that the market cap roughly around 2000 crore, and they have planned the type of responses they are getting, the type of projections that they have in terms of business, they have intent to hit this 5000 crore as a market cap, obviously increasing the sales and all things. So these are the projected numbers which we have shown at the top is considering only the organic growth. We have not considered any numbers which is coming from the inorganic opportunities where they are acquiring a lot of businesses from the market. And as per the management, these are very, very, very conservative numbers. So I hope that if they achieved 16 crore of net profit by financial 2021, this can give us a very good trigger. Certainly they will achieve these numbers what they projected here. So I personally feel, its industry tailwind is there, reasonable valuation is available, long term visibility is there, considering geo cloning or whatever has happened in the globe. So India is long way to go from here. Since the promoter started this business starting from the scratch, so skin in the game is there. He's all in and out of the event and exhibitions happening in India. He know each and every player, and he's more focused of acquiring a lot of companies. Sustainable business model, I personally feel. I know there is a debate, like anybody can start this business, but if they have some repute of some government companies or some events or some corporate will not easily change from Exhicon to another company, because they already demonstrated their own capability. So it's very rare occasion they can shift from Exhicon to any other company, and it's very difficult to have a complete setup available in house to cater such big events. So looking at the business, it's forward P looking very reasonable. So the key remark and as well as the conclusion, why we wanted to see this company as well as this industry. Long term visibility is there, considering the industry tailwind. So it's a proxy to the Indian growth story at this very nascent stage. Long way to go from here, and this industry will contribute growth in each and every sectors within the country. So it's a catalyst to the GDP growth, certainly. I personally betting on the promoter vision, Exhicon capabilities as well as expertise and their past references, as well as the opportunity size available within India. So it's a critical player in the industry who has successfully executed major events in India. Currently, government, as I already discussed, conference tourism, they are promoting a lot. If they get some share of it, then it will be certainly. So the main challenge for Exhicon is that whatever job they are taking, it has to be successfully executed. This is number one. And number two challenge, to find out relevant skill set of the people going forward. But good thing about that company, the core leadership team with them from last 2010, they have not changed anybody as a part of their core team. And junior people coming and going, no problem, but they have very good foundation in place, and certainly they will grow. And they have delegated all the responsibilities to the major stakeholder and the um, major leader of the companies. They are very choosy of selecting any particular events as well as contract. They only choose the contract where they have comfort and they can add some value to the event. Because some events are having very strict terms, or the some exhibitor are asked to do this event in such a small consigned place, and it's not possible to accommodate this event or this size of crowd. So they simply say no to that event. So they have the right. So as Puneet said, they have right to win, and they have right to win majority of the events and exhibitions within the India. And whatever companies they acquired, they keep the CEO from the same company at a top position. They only implemented their few policies like HR policy, customer satisfaction policies, as well as finance policy, just to streamline. Like they have to be same like what Exhicon is. So they keep some key people within that newly acquired company, so that it has to be streamlined transaction, so that they can align with the vision of Exhicon. Since the India is witnessing rapid growth in the exhibitions, Exhicon already have planned to have this world class exhibition convention centers in Mihan special economic zone. They will be requiring around 25 CR as a cash, but that can be discussed separately. Company mainly focusing on the strategic acquisition, which will certainly lead to the further growth. They have planned to expand their operation in UAE as well as in Malaysia. Uh, as I discussed, they are planning to merge the unlisted entities, unlisted India business related to the exhibitions. Uh, they have planned to merge the unlisted entities under the listed entity. So whoever companies, those who are doing the exhibition, like they wanted to merge that the into the listed entity part, and following two companies will come up with the fresh IPO. So certainly the existing shareholder will get benefit out of that. In terms of chart, This is the chart which we tried to project. So it shows uh, uh, which formation as well as the trend line support. So certainly, if they show very good number of, let's say, 15 to 16 crore as a pad in financial year 2024, then certainly it will be shoot up from here. You can correlate this company with Praveg. Like, you can see the performance of the Praveg. It has not moved, but if you see that growth, or this price movement within that company, it's substantially. So I personally feel that Exhicon also following the same league. So that's all from my side.
Thank you, Pankaj. Good presentation. So one question I think in the chat is already there. How much they will spend on the exhibition center in Nagpur? So if you have any idea, you can answer.
It will be roughly spending around 20 to 25 CR.
Okay. So other guys can ask question directly by unmuting themselves.
Pankaj, Saurabh
Yeah.
here.
Hello.
Hello, Pankaj.
Yes.
Saurabh here. I wanted to understand on the cash flow side.
Hmm.
Uh, in last 3 years, they have made a profit of around 14 crores,
Yes.
but the cash flow is almost zero, and their cash conversion cycle is around 100 days. So ideally, they should have, received this cash flow from operations of around 14 crores, but it is around 1 or 0 crore.
Yes.
So, any idea why the cash conversion is so
See,
less?
basically, they are mainly dealing with the government. They are getting the payment from the government, so none of the government company delayed their payment. But there are some issues of getting the payment. Like, they expected some delays from government side.
No, but I'm saying, sorry, last 3 years they have not made cash.
They have made the cash.
Okay, screener it shows cash flow from operations
See,
is.
basically, I'll tell you a very simple thing. This type of micro companies which has around roughly 340 crore of market capitalization. Most of
Okay.
the things doesn't shows on the screener or on the chart. When we meet the promoter, when we go to the ground, when we take the feedback from the customer or other people, this is at a very nascent stage. Numbers are not most of the numbers are not popping up in the screener, so we need to deep dive into their balance sheets. And
Okay.
if we have any questions, we can sort that out. We can discuss that further more in detail. But I
Okay.
personally feel this industry is at very nascent stage. They will certainly groom, and they have a big plan to expand further.
All right. Thank you.
But this 15 to 16 crore, if they achieve the pad, then it can give us more trigger so that we can further deep dive into that industry seriously. Anybody else, sir?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Hello.
Pankaj, Ritesh this side.
Yes, Rick.
Congratulations on a very good presentation.
Thank you.
I somehow we didn't talk about the risk factors involved in this company. So uh, I just had one question.
Yes.
God forbid, if something like a COVID situation rises
Yes.
and we see a 6, 9, 18 months period of that kind.
Yes.
So how much? I know it will hurt the company badly. What I meant to ask was, is the company capable, according to you, to face that situation? And how much is your conviction that it will rise again when the things normalize?
See, it's because this type of events like COVID, it's once in a decade happening like this. Because in last one, not decade, sorry, in last 100 years of time, India never experienced of such a pandemic scenario. and where we are completely shut down for 3 to 4 weeks, right? So it's very rarely it will happen. Number one. Number two, I think if worst case scenario happen like this, what they do, they can dim off the people, or they can fire some people if they cannot have any cash flow or any events going forward. But I think they come up with this COVID-19 situation very well. They executed a lot of events. They have big plans. They are getting a lot of jobs. They are acquiring some companies of cash buying of 8 crore or 5 crore, something like that. So they have the cash, they have the vision, they know how they wanted to expand further.
Okay, thanks.
So personally, in terms of, you say how much I convicted, so almost 10% of my capital is invested in this company of my overall portfolio.
Okay, I know it's a one-off event, but still we cannot rule that out in the near future or any time in the future.
See,
Uh,
we are in the stock market, so always the risk will be there. Nobody can predict the risk, but yes, you are right. Risk is there.
yes, and that is why I wanted to know how much the company is prepared, which you correctly answered. So thanks.
Thank you, man. Yes.
Yeah, adding to that, so the company's main way of working is connecting different industries or different, vendors together to achieve their business. Apart from the real estate stuff, whatever they have in Pune and Nagpur, which they are planning to do.
Yes.
So in future, say for example, if we keep the real estate part, any guys can come and jump into this kind of a business, right? It is more like connecting the dots and then forming a separate entity or separate company, right? So how will the competitiveness? How will they catch up with yeah?
As I told you, the opportunity size is very huge. So anybody
Okay.
can come with their own conviction center and start their own, right? But it required a lot of courage, efforts to make those events and such things successful in the market. So it required a lot of courage, number one. And nobody can in next day can start the business, and they will be successful. So there will be a lot of learning curves which this company has gone through in last 20 years of time.
Yeah, agreed with that.
Money wise, you can invest like anybody can invest. Even let's say Adani, or let's say any big businessman, they can easily pump $50 million, 50 crore Indian rupees, and they can start their business. But how effectively they will be successful, that is a question mark. Because this Asian Paint is also there in the market, and some of the big companies like Grasim, they wanted to enter, but it's very difficult to beat the leader in that particular segment. Will take some time. Yes, will something or to the Exhicon as a company, but they will certainly have something to come up with.
Yeah. I think
They know their business rather than anybody else.
Yeah. There are many small scale event management guys who can actually look into this space actually to increase the scope of expansion also.
Anybody. But if this is the case, then why the Bajaj Alliance company, such a big company, has a they are renting this lot of loan to lot of people. Let's say Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv, and Bajaj Alliances, right? So why they given this job to this company? For one day event, they paid 8.5, 8.6 crore Indian rupees. Why? They have the money. Why they could not do it by themselves? No. There is a specialty which you cannot bring only for the sake of money. This is my assessment.
Okay. Yeah, could be. Yeah, right. Might be. Not into that. Okay, not in. I understood that into the business of it.
Because I personally visit a lot of events, exhibitions across the globe, so I know what industry I'm talking about.
Great.
We'll see in the month of March 2024. We'll see their numbers, and this is very good platform to discuss this openly. I am not promoting that company because I invested and I am biased little bit, but open to discuss further more in detail.
Yeah. Thanks. That was nice idea. New portfolio or new industry. which
Yeah,
we
and
will look
one
into
of the one of the intent that Puneet organized this.
Mm-hmm.
Once we discussed openly, a lot of ideas come into the picture.
Yes.
Just look into the Praveg as a company.
Mm-hmm.
See their growth. They were similar to the same stage. What you asked me the question
Mm-hmm.
2 years back, and look at the growth now in that company.
Yeah. Thanks. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Pankaj.
you.
So,
Thank
Pankaj, you can go back and reply to some of the chat questions, basically. So,
you.
some of the questions are there.
Will do.
So, you can, yeah. So, we'll move to the next presentation. Mithun.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, you can stop sharing, I think.
Yeah, I will do that. Just give me a minute.
So, Mithun, you can start sharing.
I'm still disabled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do it now. Yeah, we are able to see.
So this is going to be my first presentation. So I can make lots of mistakes. So just bear with me. So the reason behind taking this company, because normally I buy a stock where I wanted to make a large position. I buy where there is a lot of pessimism in terms of the whole sector. And that's the place where you normally get values. And then I play for mean reversion in a way where the thing will normalize in coming days. And there would be some catalyst working for that particular company. And that's how I got into AMI Organics. Uh, are you able to hear me?
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Okay. So, so from a AMI Organics point of view, basically, I've just taken a screenshot of screener basically and shows the basic ratios and the valuation point of view where the current valuation is 1,000 rupees, 1,200, and the market cap is around 4,000. ROC, ROE, everything looks normalized as in, but still the only abnormal factor over here, which is a PE multiple. The PE multiple is 48, which is still expensive considering the whole sector is in doldrums, as in be it Navin Fluorine as a chemical company, be it pharmaceutical companies, the API companies, they are also in doldrum basically. And the PE in those companies where these are in doldrums, still they will have some higher PE where it is purely because of the earnings got de-rated, and that's the reason the PE got expanded. But in case of AMI Organics, the EPS never got derated. Basically, it never year on year on basis of comparison, quarter year on year on quarter basis also we never got this derated basically. So that's the reason. That's the thesis behind selecting this. I'm able to hear some background noises. As in, are you able?
Yeah, I just muted it. Okay. Go ahead.
So that's the reason I've selected AMI over here. That's what I've mentioned over here as an observations. These are the quarterly results. You can see over here quarter on quarter, every quarter on quarter there has been always been an increase. So any quarter you select, like 144, 186 every quarter. Also in Q3 also, Q2 is gonna be year on year. It would be increase only. That's what my basic thesis is. That is what also I have mentioned over here. Basically this quarter over here, they have acquired a company called Gujarat Organics, and they have taken some products from that particular company as well as the machinery from that company, and they turned around that particular company, as in they changed the method of processing certain chemicals from batch to continuous flow, which leads to higher yields and very good results, and that leads to cutting off the losses. And that's how they started over here. The margin got decreased, and then again it started increasing. They are talking about this company's margin was very less, as in it was at one time negative, but it has moved from 3% to 11% right now. And in coming 2-3 years, they are expecting every quarter on quarter, they are making improvements like 1%, 2% in the older companies and the older products like Gujarat Organics products. Apart from that, they themselves wanted to increase their operating margin higher, on a higher side. They wanted to make it up to 2022. That's what they have mentioned in their conf calls. These are the weekly charts. This is weekly chart and daily chart. Weekly chart does not show any particular trend. Same is the case with the daily chart. There's a double top pattern over here. It shows it might fall. Volumes are not so much scary, but this is typically a characteristics of stage 1 stock, where nothing is going through. The stock rotates around the 200 days moving averages, sometimes move down, sometimes move up. There's nothing going on in this particular company. So so why this company? Why this company needs to be selected? And here I will come over here. So firstly, let us understand its basic product. The basic products is they provide intermediaries, intermediaries, or they are called integrants to the API companies. And these are very basic materials. But if at all you create this basic material at large scale, then also it creates a moat. As in, so the cost of this ingredients is lesser than the company, the API actual company making that will be higher over there. So they sell this ingredients to Lauders, Dr. Reddy's, Aurobindo, or major API companies. In fact, what happens is whenever there is an FDA coming in for inspection, basically. So for APIs, there is an inspection. For ingredients, there is no inspection. So most of the companies don't want it to make intermediaries by themselves, because that will also get inspected if at all the FDA inspections happens. And that's the reason they wanted to have this outsourced to companies like AMI Organics. Is there only AMI Organics as a company who provides this ingredients? The answer is no. There are many other companies. In fact, Granules also provides ingredients to other API companies, as well as there are smaller companies like Sudarshan Pharmaceuticals also. They also provide intermediaries to these bigger companies. So why AMI Organics want to quote around such a high expensive valuation at 50 multiples if they are providing same thing like any other company can do? That's the other question. So what's so special? So what happened during 2018? They firstly bought this Gujarat Organics as a company, and then they tried to make it much more viable by transferring the processes, transferring the products from that particular method to another method. During that process, they had a one particular client interaction where the client themselves recommended that there is a particular chemical which is required for batteries, for the lithium batteries, and can you try it? And that's when they realized that they should also try, because they belong to the same group where they have little bit of niche in terms of carboxylic group, which is related to carbon compounds, carbon and hydrogen compounds. So those kind of molecule sections. So they realized that they should try that, and somehow they were able to crack it. But these molecules were so much in demand, and nobody knows apart from China. It's basically only from Asian countries. When I saw the interview of Naresh Bhai, who is the promoter of this particular company, he said nobody apart from the whole Asia knows to make this molecule apart from us. And that's the reason there was a deep secrecy within this company, because in the prior conf call, they never highlighted that what kind of molecule they are making. They never mentioned the molecule form, the molecule name also, that it belongs to the carboxylic group. In fact, it was mentioned in 2022, the latest conf call, which, by the way, they realized this in 2018-19, but they mentioned the first time in the conf call of 2022, as on 10th August, that they are making basically an electrolyte additive, where they wanted to sell this electrolyte additives to the companies for the lithium batteries. Sounds like every other company whosoever in India is making those electrolyte additives. It's like as in Gujarat Fluoro is also making electrolyte additives, or maybe Tatva Chintan is also making electrolyte additives. But in reality, nobody is making electrolyte additives. Gujarat Fluoro is making electrolytes, which is different than electrolyte additives. And Tatva Chintan is making electrolyte additives, which is also known as electrolyte salts, but they are making only for sodium and zinc based batteries, but that to a completely different formula as compared to that to completely different than AMI Organics basically. And they themselves were not sure how big the market would be when they ventured into electrolyte additives. As in, is it whenever anybody questioned about the electrolyte additives, they never gave a perfect answer that what would be the size of the opportunity which they are looking forward to in terms of what kind of sales they can expect. But in another conf call in 11th August 2023 conf call, they then after completing 1 year, they realized that what kind of potential they have in this. And over here in 2023 conf call, they mentioned for the first time that Naresh Bhai mentioned that I'm not guiding you, I'm not giving you any projections, but that would be expectation that we got the import from some research that it will be much higher than the 2x or 3x bigger than what we have. So basically, they are saying the 3x of the potential it has a potential to have 3x revenue of the current sales which they are doing. Then the current sales which they are doing is around 600 crores of sales in intermediary business. And this is also a very good business for the AMI Organics because they have scaled from scratch to very good position in intermediaries, and they are by far the biggest company in intermediaries, not in API, in intermediaries. So, and they're talking about this business, the electrolyte business, can be, will be more than like 2x or 3x also. And this is also a conservative thing. The electrolyte additives which we are talking about, it sounds like only going to be used for the EV segment, EV cars, EV vehicles only, but that's not the case. In another conf call, he mentioned that this additives will be used for the lithium-ion batteries, which is used in your mobile also. So as a scope, your scope widens drastically from only vehicle to everything. As small as mobile it could be. And that's the potential which AMI got into. So why the numbers are not reflecting? That's another question which we should have. So the numbers are not reflecting because they were just having the clients coming in India, visiting the facility, and whether they should get into deal transaction with AMI Organics or not. They onboarded 6 clients, internationally, and 3 domestic clients from India. So total they have 9 clients, and they have another clients coming in coming days. As of now, they have been sending samples everywhere. So the another question would be, so what happened to the Chinese competition? As in, because currently these additives were created from Chinese market, why would a company from US will change their channel from China to India? And especially a company as small as AMI Organics. It is very small as compared to the Chinese players who are in this segment, as well as any other companies. So there is an answer behind that. The reason behind that is because there is an act which came in 2022, which is called as Inflation Reduction Act, where AMI Organics will have uh, a foresight in a way because the particular member of that particular act, the Chinese Inflation Reduction Act, who was Senator Joe from Democrat, he said that intend to invest in domestic manufacturing supply chains, creating jobs in North America while reducing our reliance on China. They completely wanted to avoid China. So if at all they are made domestically, why then intend to buy from India? Because everything can't be made in US from scratch. They have to get some of the products from other countries. So where they can buy apart from China, it's only India from Asian side. There's no one else. So now we are stuck with the opportunity that we have only one company in India, in the whole Asia, apart from China, who can deliver this products at a large scale to multiple customers in US, and eventually everybody from US will have to come to India because they have to officially move out of China, not because of the cost, but because of the regulation. And regulations are much more stronger than the cost. In fact, Amy in one of the interviews said that we are going and negotiating with US companies that this is what the price we want, not they should offer the price which they want. Basically, they are negotiating what they want. So this is completely opposite, where it's not about only cost, it's about the speciality by selling a particular product at a price which is better than what Chinese can offer and still get it. That is what we have an opportunity over here. So I went through another and I went through the understanding why what will happen if at all they don't say I will not change from US, I will not change to India, I will go still gonna buy to China. Then in that case, they won't get the credits. As a result, the cost of the production of the solar, onshore, offshore wind, battery, everything will be much higher, at least 50% higher than what they can get with the credit. And that is what we can see over here. The gaps over here, 2025, 2026, the cost is still higher. This is the existing gas and coal. This is with credit, and this is with full cost. So the orange line is full cost. This is the with credit. So every cost would be 50% at least higher every year. And that's where the company will lose the benefit. And that will be expensive if some of the companies move to Ami Organics or any other company. So now they don't have options. So if any of the company moves to Ami Organics, they will have a cost advantage and they can have better sales basically. So of course, they don't have an option. Apart from that, this is one side of the business. There's another side of the business which they again stuck a goal, is called Baba Fine Chem. This is a company which deals with semiconductors, chemicals. And they the partners, there were 3 partners in Baba Fine Chem, out of which one died. One of them was old and wanted to move out, wanted to cash out. He cashed out. The third partner, the remaining partner, stayed with the firm Baba Fine Chem, and they thought to get in partnerships with new firms so that they can make this company growing in that way. Currently, this Baba Fine Chem produce chemicals only required for semiconductors, and they have only one client. Only one client. Now, Ami Organics bought 55% of the stake, and in fact, Baba Fine Chem selected Ami Organics, not opposite way, that Ami Organics went and bought the Baba Fine Chem. So Baba Fine Chem realized that Ami Organics would be a better partner of choice rather than other companies, where they scouted and bought scouted and said Ami Organics to buy 55% of the stake, and that value were very cheaply. They bought at 4x EBITDA of FY23. And now Ami Organics took into it and they took the samples, they took the products and sent it to various other companies in different countries. In fact, they send it to Japan, they send it to Korea. That's what they have mentioned in their interview. So this is another place where Ami Organics is getting into place, but there's nothing big over here. The way the electrolyte additive it is nothing big as compared to the electrolyte additives, but it has the potential to grow big. So electrolyte additives, Ami Organics, semiconductor chemicals, Ami Organics. So is there any good in their original business, the intermediaries, the ingredients business? The answer is yes. Over here, basically, they struck another goal over here because they made intermediaries for a company called Fermion, and they got into blockbuster sales, blockbuster drug for a company called Bayer, and that drug is called Nebuca. This is a drug, a special drug for the prostate cancer treatment. And this drug, initially when it was discovered, or say, I would say invented, Bayer as a company expected 1 billion of sales. But within few months, they realized that they are looking for a very small number. It's not actually 1 billion sales. They realize it has a potential of 3 billions of sales, $3 billion of sales, peak sales, and where that kind of demand is there for that particular drug. And here in one of the conf call, Rikin Shah asked the opportunity for Ami Organics. So within this API, there are multiple intermediaries where one of the intermediaries can provide them 500 crores of business to Ami Organics. Only one intermediary. There are 2, 3 more intermediaries. So Ami Organics said that currently we are the only company which can provide that intermediaries. They and Fermion are the only companies. Fermion gonna provide the API to Bayer basically. So that is what it's 100% with them. This is 100% with us. Ami and Fermion, only 2 guys will manufacture this intermediaries. Apart from this intermediaries, there are another intermediaries which are coming up, which is called Axiban, and there's another called Rivaxoban. Rivaxoban, these are mostly related to blood clotting, useful for blood thinner basically. So all the old guys, mostly who are diabetic, have some issues. So most of the people are given blood thinners, and the primary API over there is Axiban and Rivaxoban. And they have this process patents. I would say process patents, not the only patents for the product. It's called a process patents because they can't patent a product for the intermediaries. And so in India, if at all a particular method has to be way to produce this intermediaries, they have the process to deliver that. And that is what they have already done. And they have done for all the bigger molecules, intermediaries, as much as they can do. So currently, they're going to provide for these are the Axiban, the Rivaxoban, and there's another intermediary which is coming on is Edexoban, which is another one of the older blockbuster drugs which used to be in Japan, and they also expecting a very decent opportunity in this particular molecule. So said that I have provided the references also. I will share the references, what it is, how it is. But just to give a thought over here, just to tell that what is the actual drug prices over here. So this is Nubeqa prices, and this is the price in US. So for 120 tablets, basically we gonna charge around $13,500. $13,500 only for 120 tablets in US. Realize that. And in India, it is still going to be sold, but it's sold at a cheaper rate. It is still sold, the cheaper rate comes to be 2,75,000 for 112 tablets. And they are expecting it to grow larger. As in, not the price will go larger, the volume will grow larger. So now we talked about Fermion D. So over here, they realized that with Fermion, we can sell more other intermediaries for the same API. So they started producing other intermediaries for Fermion. And this is in conf call of Q3, Q3 FY23. And they said that we're gonna give more, we are trying for a few more products in coming days with Fermion. And as on 15th September, they actually got one more intermediary success over there, and they strike another deal, which is multi-year, multi-million-dollar agreement for advanced pharmaceutical intermediary with Fermion only. So basically, we are expecting another maybe 300, 400 crores of Fermion product coming in for the same molecule, which is Nubeqa, and which is as a part of their business. So in total, I expect that my conclusion would be, which is FY23 sales. I have not considered the TTM sales. It is FY23 sales where they are confident of growing their business at the rate of 18%. I'm expecting 500 crores instead of 600 crores or maybe 700 crores, 500 crores from the first Fermion intermediary. Then I'm expecting 300 crore of second intermediary. And I'm expecting over here, I'm slightly bullish. I would say 3x. but I think it will be fetching more numbers because the scope is wide enough, as in it's not cars only, it's mobile, everything, anything which includes lithium batteries, they're going to provide the electrolyte addictors, and that's the scope. So, and this is going to be reflected in the P&L by Q4 of FY 23-24, and from Q4, it will start reflecting a smaller numbers, but bigger numbers will be reflected in FY 24-25 as these numbers. And that is where I expect around approximately 5 times increase in the profit, considering the whole business. And that's how the profit should look around. And we have a bunch of good shareholders sitting in this AMI Organics. I'm not going to name it, but let's say only 12% as a free float exists in retail, only 12%. And I know predominantly there were two HNIs which came in recently for 50 crores QIPs bid. And they're also sitting over there, but names are not reflected in AMI Organics. So it's a bunch of guys who came in, but their names are not reflected because they are holding stake lesser than 1%. But big HNIs are sitting over there. That's the reason a company like AMI Organics, which is very small, but still quoting at 50 PE multiple. And it's still unknown, basically. I rarely know people talking about AMI Organics in general because it's not in the hot sector segment. It's in a downfall sector, like chemicals and pharmas are in downfall. And that's the reason it's not hot. But I expect fireworks from Q3 conf call where they're gonna talk about the numbers getting reflected, as in getting started in their business, not in the P&L and balance sheet. And in Q4, the numbers will be starting reflecting, and that's when the people will start multiplying and do rough calculations that this is what the potential would be, and then it should go like parabolic in that. That's it. As in, any questions, let me know. This is my first presentation, so I don't have much things to cover up as in structural way, but I went through the flow in terms of the conf call and in terms of what AMI Organics said. So I have been following this company, as in when I say following, I'm not following from last 2 years, but I have watched all the videos on AMI Organics where the promoter is talking about, listen to all conf call, read the presentations as well as the conf call multiple times, try to pin down everything as much as they talked about. They haven't given any numbers in terms of what would be the pricing, where it would be. They wanted it to be secretly, they wanted to keep it secret so that the competitors don't jump in and kill the business, basically, which they are entering into.
Yeah, thanks, Mithun. So, floor is open for questions, I think. So, guys, if you have any questions, please let us know. So this is from one of the sectors which is out of favor. So when you have to make money in the market, sometimes you have to decide, okay, out of favor, how much long it would be out of favor. Sometimes some companies can stay in that zone for 2-3 years, actually. Just like some of the charts we have seen from the morning, some companies can stay at the same price point for 2-3 years. They will undergo time correction instead of price correction. So you have to be very sure when you are buying something which is out of favor at this point of time in the market. But there is an alpha when you have to buy before the market recognizes what it is capable of as a company. And that's where the difference is, and that's what Mithun is trying to highlight through his presentation. Okay, I think no questions. Chintan, you have some question?
No.
Okay. So yeah, then thanks, Mithun, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, so Shubham is the next one, but before Shubham takes over, let me just see the results of morning quiz, whatever we have done. Okay, So in the chat, you could have seen the answers by people, right? So I will just share my screen once. There is my PPT. You guys are able to see my PPT now?
Yeah, it came up.
Okay. So the first question was HPL का surveillance का कौन सा segment है? It was Tonbo was the right answer. C. And the next one was coming from the Sula. Sula is famous for, of course, wine was the answer for it. It was a giveaway basically. So let's see who has answered correctly in the chat basically. If you go to the chat and see who has given the right answer first. So both the answers should be correct actually in the first row. So if I see in the chat, just going up and up. Salesh started with the first right answer, but the second answer, he was behind actually. So the first person that I could see is possibly Mukesh Kumar. I think he has answered C correctly. And then for the second question also, he was able to be fastest fingers first in the second one as well. Yeah, I think Mukesh got both the answers right correctly at the first fastest fingers basically. So yeah, Mukesh, you would be winning the first prize basically of the morning session. Congratulations. You are there?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I am.
Okay. So the time for next audience time. Okay. Again, the similar concept. 2 questions. Just answer correctly. Okay. They're very easy questions, just like in the morning. So Skipper is mostly what kind of business? D2C, B2B, B2C, D2G. So Amar, where you would put it? You presented Skipper, right? Where you will put it? It's B or D. People are confused between B and D.
Right now, leaning, I think it's more towards the D2G business.
Yeah.
They will evolve, but I'll go with D.
Yeah, so answer is D basically. It's D2G business. So Deepak has got it right. So Deepak, you should be ready for the next question basically. And the other person, Sujay, Devang. So these are 3 people who put it right. So and Himanshu is the next one, Rohit. Okay, there are 5 people who have done it rightly at the first point. So if they answer one of them answer correctly for the second one, possibly they will latch on to the next prize. So Exhicon majorly belongs to TV, OTT, exhibition, conference. So, I think Sujay got it right. Right? Sujay has started with C. So yeah, Sujay, then you would win the second prize.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So I will contact both of you, Mukesh and Sujay, basically. For this, there is one more prize after this, basically. So don't go away. Okay. And then we'll move to the next session. So I will stop sharing. So Shubham, you can start.
Yeah. Just give me 2 minutes. Sharing my screen.
So after this, we will take a break. Okay, after this session, we'll take a small break for the team.
Yeah, so is my screen visible,
Yes.
guys? Okay. Amazing. So first of all, let me just introduce myself before I hop onto the presentation. So I'm the youngest one, I think, in the group. I'm 23 years young. And I'm an entrepreneur myself, actually professionally. Um, what I do is basically I run a company of e-commerce and into advertising agency. I lead a team of 8 individuals personally. And by the way, are we guys? Is there anyone who has problem with issues with Hindi? If I speak in Hindi, it doesn't mean that I don't know how to speak in English. Just that like stock market की भाषा ही शायद हिंदी है. So that's that.
So you can mix it off basically. So
Yeah,
there
yeah,
could
yeah.
be
That's
some
what.
people from different parts of India. So you can mix it off.
Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, as I was saying about myself, so my primary business, my advertising agency, is what brings me the cash inflow or capital per se, and market is what helps me compound it, right? So, and my personally, if I would talk about myself, my investing style is pretty much aggressive. I like I'm not in the market. I'm not in the market to compound my capital at 12%. I'm in the market to buy risk, and obviously everyone here has a different uh, definition for risk. Some are, happy with 12%, some are not. So if I wanted a 15% CAGR, I would just put my money into ETF and all of that stuff. So, but yeah, I'm looking at a capital CAGR of 25 to 30% onwards, and by God's grace, I've been able to crack it. Uh, yeah. So some of my earlier picks were like Kodiak Industries. I've been an early investor in E2E, Gensol, RMC, MK Ventures, and all of that. So that's that. One more thing I wanted to ask before I start jumping to my presentation. Is there anyone from Gujarat over here? Anyone, Ahmedabad specifically, if there's anyone, because the company I'm going to talk about is from Gujarat. It's an Ahmedabad-based company. I'm not sure if anyone of you all have read it earlier or studied about it, but I'm just going to give my best. This is obviously going to my first presentation. I'm an investor from last 3 to 4 years, but I've not presented like given any such presentations before. So yeah, the market cap of the company is 65 crores, and it's a nano cap, I would say. And as my definition goes, it's a very, very risky bet. It's a small cap with a sales of around 65 crore, annual sales of 65 crores, and the market cap is around annual sales of 63 crores, and the market cap is around 65 crores. So let's take a very quick dive into fundamental ratios, right? And you can choose to ignore you know the ratios is because that the company is so small that these ratios, like one single quarter, and these ratios would just jump here and there, right? So just for the sake of it, I would just start with the ratios. First of all, we are getting this company to PE multiple of 18. The RO and ROC is 33 and 37, quite comfortable. But again, all the funds and everything will change after the IPO proceeds will start deploying in the business. Currently, this company was listed on the stock markets on the SME platform on, I guess, July of this thing, July of 2023. So it's not even 4 months since the company got listed. So it's quite new to the market. Now, this one thing that caught my eye is that the market cap to sales ratio of 1, right? So, I mean, it's quite astonishing that if I could just go and tell you guys that go out and find me a company, like a retail outlet company, which is profitable and which is trading at a market cap to sales of 1, right? So, like, if you write a check of 65 crores, you're getting a company of 60 crores, and company that is going to generate you a cash flow of 2 crores every month, every year, I'm sorry, and that has the assets of around 20 crores, right? And uh, let's see, again, the equity share capital is very small. um, the promoter is holding 70%. The smart money, which is we call the HNI investors and everything, they have around 7%. So it's around 18 lakh shares that are free float for the retail investors, and it's very easy to corner. All right, so let's start off with the company. So, like, if I say in simple words, it's like a very similar model to what DMart started. back in 2017. I guess DMart was listed on 2017. So Maxon is incorporated in the year 2019. Sorry, 2019, and it's a retail chain outlet of stores that sell frozen food, gourmet foods, food products, imported products, and chocolates, right? And let me just give you a glimpse of what actually the products they sell. So they sell frozen food, veg and non-veg, premium cheese and dairy products, exotic vegetables, ambient products, imported lux luxury products, and imported packed products, right? Um, their product offerings have an SKU count of about 3,000, and they have around 26 retail outlets as of now, like before getting listed on the equity market. Uh, Before going public, they had 26 retail outlets and 16 were operated by the company. Seven are on the franchisee model, and two are like in a joint venture, right? So they also have a warehouse. This is a rented warehouse, by the way, a warehouse of 14,000 square feet where they manage their inventory and everything. Okay. Retail locations. So this is in Ahmedabad, very much concentrated in Gujarat, to be honest, because it's quite new model as of now. Ahmedabad, they have 12 stores, Vadodara 4, and all the way to 26. They have only one store in Mumbai, which is Thane, so it is very, very less penetrated company, if you'd say. But the addressable market size is so large that we are getting at a throwaway price of what do you call it, 60 crores of market cap. So let me just take a deep dive into this. So again, all these tier one cities. So they're targeting the tier one cities as of now, and then they would just uh, branch out into other cities. Um, yeah. So the total retail place out of all these, combined, this 26 stores is 30,000 square feet with again SKU of around 3,000 units, which I've already covered. So IPO was a very small IPO, fresh issue of 13.74 crores, and funds deployment. Obviously, they are deploying their funds to open. It is proposed to open 10 new stores under a franchisee agreement. So it's pretty much a capital intensive business where it requires capital to to build stores, to stock up inventory, to get new employees, and then get everything running. So it needs capital, and it's where the IPO money is going, other than the working capital requirements. Okay, so let's take a dive into financials. And to be very honest, from the last 3 years, the financials have been flattish, from 53 crores to 55 crores to 62 crores, right? But there was no such, increment in the, what do you call, the number of stores, right? Because if you see the Demart's growth, Demart has been exponentially jumping the number of, increasing the number of stores quarter on quarter, annual, year on year, right? And these guys did not increase any, number of stores. So the only time they increased their stores was in the year 2020 and 2019, right? And you can see the direct difference between the revenue, where you see the 2020 2021, there's a 60% enhancement in top line, and that's that. So operating profit margin has been on a upward trajectory from 6.89, 6.8, and then 7.15. PAT again on an upward trajectory. Nothing extraordinary, but again, just to tell you that this would be an betting on something that is not very fancy to public eye, is where originally the big money is made. Because then see, if everything, अगर सब कुछ ही अच्छा हो जाएगा तो फिर मतलब सभी लगा देंगे उसमें पैसे, but then it's not very good to eyes, because if you'll go and see कि सब कुछ अच्छा चाहिए तो फिर नहीं मिलने वाला है. Reserves, if you'll see, again from 1 crore of reserve to 4 crores of reserve. Borrowings, they are reducing their balance sheet. The borrowings are going down from around 4 crores to around 3.2 crores, and they have become cash flow positive in FY23, right? Let's see next. So a little bit business model study. So what we have here is that specialty food market, the market size of the overall specialty food is going up by 10.5%. And if you'll see the chart here from 2020, it's almost tripling by 2028, right? Global specialty foods market, right? The global specialty food market grew from 159, almost 160 billion US dollars in 2021, and it's projected to grow at a CAGR rate of 5.3% to 204 billion. And if I convert it into the INR terms, it's 16.3 lakh crore of market size by year 2026 at a CAGR rate of 5.1%. So look at the company size that we are betting on, it's 65 crore, and look at the market size, total addressable market size. And obviously there are big players, like Reliance Retail, there's Swiggy, Instamart, and then there's Zomato, and everyone, all of these would take the market share. But then this is such a huge market share that, like बहुत बड़ा कुआं है. And these companies like these were like DMart was there before also, right? And the company has shown the, what do you call, uh, it's business पे जो पकड़ होती है वो उन्होंने दिखाया starting से, because even when they did like the, I did not put the FY 2019 का financial statement over here, but they did like, I think, 10 crores of revenue, but still they were making profit of 10 lakhs out of it, right? Even after, see, because we see companies that are making 3,000 crores of profit and they still be negative, right? So being profitable is what is highly appreciated in the market, right? And growth, obviously, we are betting in the future because of the growth. So let's see here. Um, the growth, see again, this is one tailwind, which is the growth in the number of millennials preferring at home and healthy meals, coupled with a growing interest in having nutritious food for healthy lifestyle, is increasing the demand for specialty foods, because the type of products that they keep, which is gourmet foods and premium products, these are ready to make foods, right? Ready to cook foods. Again, basically, just, I mean, nobody wants to eat dal chawal every day, especially my generation. I mean, like the Gen Z youth. Like when we would be growing old, I don't think like my parents, they used to cook like they cook every day at home. But then if we see Gen Z, they don't like to cook food every day. So these are the type of products. These are futuristic products that Maxon is working on. Basically, these are ready to cook foods. After that, um, okay. Again, continuing, according to Specialty Food Association (SFA), millennials are twice likely to plan at-home meals and giving high preferences for specialty products to create interesting and healthy eating experiences. Right? Yeah. Moreover, according to the research in NDP Group in 2019, millennials, Gen X, or Gen Z and baby boomers are expected to eat more meals at home. Thus, growth in millennials at-home cooking activities and preferences for healthy foods are expected to boost revenue for specialty foods market and in the coming years. And this is the exact market that we're targeting right now. Let's look at the Indian government market, which is the specialty food retail stores market. Um, the food and grocery are the most significant segments in the Indian retail sector, with an opportunity worth 570 billion, which is 45 lakh crores, and accounting to 66% of the country's total retail spend. I mean, we are into a sector which has the um, most amount of retail spend, right? Like if it's like अगर कोई 100 रुपया कमा रहा है तो वो 66 rupees around on his retail spend, it is going to like a specialty food or like a food retail store. And obviously it has like there's a very it's a very big pond where all the fishes are there. But then rather than betting on the fish that has already grown to a size where it can't grow big from there, we are betting on a fish which is relatively smaller, but growth would be inevitable from there, right? So, sorry. So again, this market, which is the Indian government and specialty food market, is expected to grow at a CAGR of 8%, supported by macro drivers, which is increasing per capita income, urbanization and rising families, conversion from unpackaged to packaged food, premiumization, and demand for convenience are some of the key drivers at the segment level. Yeah, the retail food market. So let's talk about the size of the retail food market, right? The retail food market was most valuable among other segments in the food industry. Retail accounted for 800 billion US dollars, 64 lakh crores in 2021, right? Out of the total Indian economy, if you'll see the chart, the food imports is 33.6 billion, food exports, food services, and then the food retail market. I keep emphasizing on the market size is because like when you bet on sectors where they are just what do you call, where they are limited to the market size. So even after your company has done good at a certain level, there's no market to grow out of, right? So the total addressable market is too large. There's sorry, is there any question? I think I heard someone speaking. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You can go
So
ahead. Yeah.
yeah, okay. Yeah, so again, the as I was saying, the total addressable market is very huge over here. So again, here the food services ranked second that year, and the the total market size for that was 64 billion US dollars. Um, okay, let's go. Yeah, so let's talk about risk. So since I'm an aggressive investor, I tend to look more at the risk side of it and the business model. And I don't try to focus a lot on the numbers part, like numbers as in I don't look a lot at the P ratio. I don't look at the ROC, ROE ratios initially, because when the company is so small, you must give it some room and you must give it some time, and you just have to focus on the management and the business model. So here some of the risks that came into my eye were the net profit margins. The net profit margin is 4% as of FY23, and any dip in the top line may result in negative earnings, obviously. However, this is common for retail chain outlet business, right? DMart, which is a segment leader. DMart is not an actual peer because DMart sells everything, right? Like roti, kapda, makan, DMart सब बेचता है. DMart sells clothes, DMart sells food products, DMart sells home appliances and everything, right? So still, just for a comparison with the segment leader, DMart works at a 5% net profit margin, given they own multiple lands and where they've built up stores, like the land that they actually own. So there's zero rent for them, and the operating leverage that they have kicked in after years of being in business. Okay, so this is the first risk which is net profit margin, low net profit margin, I would say. Second risk is no pricing power till date, because majority of the products that Maxon sells are sourced from wholesalers that do not allow them to enhance their margins, right? Because 10 का माल आता है, 12 तक in a what do you call, inventory store होता है, and then you sell it for 15, right? So like it's like owning a franchise of McDonald's. You can't sell an aloo tikki burger. If they ask you to sell it at 50, you have to sell it at 50. You can't even sell it at 51, right? So your margins are pretty much fixed, right? So but just in case if I go out and I own if I run my own vada pav ka thela, just in case my margins are short, I'm short of cash, I would just sell a 12 rupee burger to 15 rupee burger, right? Like nobody would question me. So that pricing power is not here, right? But however, Maxon is working on an in-house brand. Now this is the turning point. I would say this is the inflection point of the company that we're talking about right here, which is RF Gourmet. I explained later on, yet to show its effect in the earnings and margin. What they have kicked off over here is that they have created their own brand where they'll sell the food products under their own brand, right? So this will enable them to enhance their margins and push towards a better profitability, right? The third risk, however, is that high inventory and trade receivables as a percent of revenue. So Maxon has 11 crores as per FY23 balance sheet as inventory plus trade receivables. So if you'll see here, current assets, they have 9 plus 1, which is 9 plus 1.5, which is around 11 crores of inventories and trade receivables. And that is 17% of their FY23 revenue, right? And that number is pretty high. So just so you know, this number is 7.5% for DMart as of now, which is quite on the lower end. To make it fair, just to make it fair, DMart was at 9% if you go and compare 10 years back. That is FY 2013, right? So in the year 2013, this number, the inventories plus trade receivable, this number was 9% for DMart, and still it's on a higher end, which is double almost. for Maxon, right? It is 17.7% for Maxon. So that's one risk. This has also been pointed out, mentioned or made clear by the company itself in their DRHP. Uh, they have mentioned it that the holding of the inventory is higher. Okay. And it's obvious because see, company is into a segment where they have to, it's in a retail segment, right? And retail, if there's no stock, there's typically no sale. Like even if the customer enters your store and if there's no stock, so like he'll be just going out and purchasing from somewhere else. So stock has to be there. But then once there's what do you call once there's a brand value, once there's people start trusting, so I feel this will just fizzle out in the years to come. The last risk, which I feel is also very important, which is almost zero online penetration. Maxon has negligible revenue coming in from online website or stores, and versus compared to peers such as DMart, Big Basket, Amazon Pantry, Blinkit, JioMart, Swiggy, all of these they dominate the online market. And because of the online sales and schemes, we all feel that the world is moving online and the management must come up with marketing strategy that could attract the untapped audience that's sitting online, right? This should help significantly in increase in the top line. If not, there's a risk of losing market share again. So let's talk about advantages. So again, the only advantage here we have is the business that is owned by the brand, which is called RF Government. In 2022, company has launched RF Gourmet, their own brand having a range of premium products such as French fries, fiery fries, chili garlic potato shots, Delhi aloo tikki, veggie burger tikki, chunky fries, eggs, and a range of chicken sikh kebabs. All the products in this brand are sourced from top vendors, ensuring premium quality, and they are packed and marketed by Maxon under this brand, right? All products under this brand are introduced after analyzing and prevailing the market gap and increasing demand for the products. If you'll see the type of products they're launching, these are pretty futuristic of what you say, the Gen Z type of products that that the audience would rather prefer going out and eating, or maybe just bringing this taking these home whenever you just purchase your monthly grocery. So that's that. So under expansion plan, company will be doing packaging of RF government product in their own godown as a part of backward integration. Thus, this this said strategy of backward integration will help Maxon in increasing their margins from distribution business, and in long term, it will help the company to develop core competence. Okay. Um, so how do we value this company, right? There's a slow growth in top line. Last significant growth in top line was in FY20 to FY21 when the company improved its top line by 65% in FY22 2020, which is from 32 crores to 53 crores in 2021. The only change that happened in 2020 was the addition of stores, franchise or own stores. So management is planning to add 10 more stores, which is from the IPO proceeds, which has not yet reflected on um, the quarterly results or the half yearly results that the company would be posting in the coming time. If this is done well, it is presumed that there may be an increase in top line and hence the company looks cheap from 2 years forward FY25 PE. Because see, the business model is directly proportional to the number of store outlets that they own, or run, either owned by the company or on a franchisee model. All right. So currently by FY23, the trailing 12 months P, the FY23 P was 18.67, is 18.67, and EPS is 4.4. Current market price comes at 82. Currently, I am eyeing an 180 crore top line in FY26, which is triple in 3 years, around 65 crores to 180 crores, and a little bit of increase in net profit margin. We have pretty solid reasons to believe so, because we are presuming that it improves by addition of in-house brands mixed with operating leverage. Because currently, company is not able to take the benefit of operating leverage as of now, and they are working on in-house brands which will enable their margins. They will enhance the margins. So the pack comes at around 10 crores. So by FY26 the forward P becomes 25 because you cannot find any retail outlets that profitable retail business at 18 P multiple. I mean, it's already cheap over here, and the median P is around 30. So still we are at a conservative basis. We are taking a median P of 25, and EPS growth will again come to 17. So the stock price should jump 5x from here. There's no there's no prediction. There's clear cut business model that will help the company to 5x their earnings or market cap visibility from the current market price, right? And there's one learning that I have made from in the last 3 to 4 years is that if the business model is good, it can turn an expensively valued company into a cheaply valued one. And if the business model is bad, it can turn a cheaply valued company into a very expensively valued one. Many people, they just focus on the market cap. They just focus on what you call the PE ratio. They stay fixated at PE ratio. I bought a company at a PE of I think 60 to 65. The next quarter, everyone told me, like every other guy I talked to, they told me that it's expensive. The next quarter, the company doubled. I mean, not doubled actually. The profit came out to be 60 plus percent, 60 to 70% above, and the stock price went doubled. So generally, their earnings were doubled, and the P contraction happened. I mean, like the stock went cheap, right? So when especially when you're buying small caps or nano caps, like under 500 crores, under 400 crores, these you should not remain fixated to the P ratios. You should be very focused to the business model, and if the business model promises growth, if there's a market size that is so huge that there's chances of increase in top line and bottom line, then I think we should bet on the business model rather than the PE ratios. So that's that from my end. If you all need anything, if you all need to get in touch, I'm on Twitter, which is Microbets India. So that's that from my end. If there are any questions, I'm just happily take them.
Thanks a lot, Shubham. So coming from 23-year-old, that understanding, I'm very happy actually. So very few people at that age is able to understand the business model. Forget about, okay, which business and what is we are talking about. I'm talking in general sense about understanding of a market or understanding of a business through this lens. That part generally comes with maturity. So hats off to you, basically, from my side. So
Thank you.
the question from my side also again to you now is, so which city you belong to?
Mumbai.
So have you visited Magson there?
No, as of now. As of now, I've not visited.
Okay, so I think from the audience, 2-3 people have visited. Okay, so they definitely could have asked. I think Salesh, you are there. Yeah, Salesh is there. Mithun is also there. So what do you think? Why they are selling other products basically? When they are so much focused on their products itself, they can just get away from the other products, right? They can focus on their own products and build the business around that.
So you're talking about the new additions that they're making, right?
So basically their own branded products, basically.
See,
so
it's okay. Yeah, please.
So my question is basically why. So overall, the feeling that we got is when we deep dived into that business earlier, this part of year is their own revenue percentage is very less at this point of time. So how you see that growing in the coming time? Right. So that is more my question. How you see that as growing their own branded business overall?
Because see, as of the annual report that I read, they have around 1.5 lakh repeating customers, right? And the product that they were already selling, they originally sourced it from wholesalers. And as I mentioned at the start of the call, when you purchase something from a wholesaler, there's very like the margins are very constant, right? Like you cannot stretch the margins even if there's hyperinflation, there's war, and there's anything, you cannot stretch the margins. But when you jump into products that you yourself manufacture, or that when they're marketed and produced by yourself, then you have the control over pricing, right? And it's why we see the certain retail stocks that like Trent or Dmart. Like I think Dmart started producing when like I was like just part of the study. I was studying Dmart also. I think Dmart ever since DMart started producing their own, own products, like they have their clothing line and everything, for daily wear and all of those stuff. uh, that is when the margin shot up, and that is when they actually had the pricing power in hand. They still do the reselling part, which is 10 का बेच के भी 12 में बेचने वाला चीज. They still do it, but alongside that they have their own brands and they have their own line of production, which helps them to uh, help the margins in hand. They have that power in hand when you have the own product line.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel.
Good. So one positive feedback for the company from my Scuttlebutt and some other people who have gone there is, so there are certain people who are loyal to this business, basically loyal customers. So they will only go
Yeah.
to this place to get the things. The reason behind that is they will feel they will get all the ingredients in single place. Okay, they can get some of these things in DMart also, but DMart may the business model is like that. They will buy in the bulk and they will finish off in the bulk. So you will get out of 10, suppose you need 10 items in the kitchen, you might get 8. 2 you still will not get at certain point of time. But at Magson, you might be sure of getting all 10 in a single go. So people will prefer to walk in at Magson instead of DMart for these kind of things. And there are some loyal customer base. That's how it is increasing and sustaining over last 13, 14 years till now. So interesting business, but let's see how it works. Thanks a lot for presentation. One question is from Saurabh. So Saurabh.
Shubham, I have one question as well.
Yeah, please.
So Saurabh, you
Yeah,
have...
sorry, I don't have a question. I just have some input,
Yeah.
which might be helpful. Actually, two inputs. One is if you look at this space, Spencer has Nature's Basket, which is more premium, and the entire Spencer is available at 0.2 times of sales, and it has never commanded valuation from investors. And two, my wife was earlier with Star Bazaar, which is the grocery retail chain of Trend. And even Trent has struggled, but Tata Group, which is Trent, which is doing so phenomenally well in fashion retail, even they are struggling in grocery retail. So these are the two inputs for Shubham that I wanted to, pass on.
Yeah, that's I mean, I would not deny that this space is typically very competitive, but here our solo bet, I would say, is the throwaway price that we're getting as of now. You're getting a retail, you're getting a business that is trading at market cap to sales ratio of 1, which is very cheap to me. I mean, like any day they would just, like any given day, like any good result, and this would jump to market cap to sales ratio of at least 3. So there's a at least growth of 3x from here, is what I'm seeing. But again, if you see Trent and every other business that we are talking about right now, this, like today, like if you see it from today's point of view, today's POV, that like today is the time that they have started to consolidate the business. I mean, there's no growth from here because they have exhausted their exhausted that size that they're growing with, right? But if you see at the market size that the Maxon is right now, which is around 65-70 crores. From there, I think at least there's a market cap visibility of around 500 to 1,000 crores, given that the industry that they're in. But again, let's see. I mean, every business needs time to grow, and let's see in the years to come if we have any substantial results out of this company. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah. So this kind of business gives you a chance to do scuttlebutt. Basically, you can visit and do it. So just do it in Mumbai. Basically, you are staying there.
Yeah. There's one store in Thane.
Yeah, correct. So yeah, Pankaj, you have one question.
Shubham, I have one question.
Yes.
First of all, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Here, as I understood, they are also selling non-veg products, right? Non-veg frozen products, right?
No,
And
they are.
You said that majority of the stores are based in Gujarat. So how the people who has taste of only vegetarian food, how they will go and enter and buy the stuff because people generally avoid.
Mm-hmm.
What is your view on that? What do you think? And I need more clarity on that.
Yeah, I mean, I've not studied on that part where you're saying the Gujarat. So first of all, the non-veg thing that we are talking about, the non-veg packaged item, these are not out yet. I mean, these are not out as in these are the company's own products that they started building from 2022 onwards, and it's still work in progress. But I think the company the company that they've raised funds from the IPO, which they have tried to. There's no disclosure yet where they will be opening stores, but I'm giving it a guess that maybe after maybe if they start opening these stores around Maharashtra or in the western side, Goa and all those sides, maybe there they could start selling the non-veg new item of the non-vegetarian line that they are starting to retail. So that could be one case. Apart from Gujarat, I'm not very sure what percent of Gujarat state is vegetarian or non-vegetarian. But yeah, I mean, like definitely there's a lot of room here to explore about that. So nice point.
Yeah, because I know some of the companies based out of
Mm-hmm.
Gujarat, any part of the
Mm-hmm.
world. This
Mm-hmm.
franchising model is now getting very much famous and popular.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you meet the promoter or other team and other
Mm-hmm.
members, you come to know what is their future plan going forward. Because
Right,
in the
right.
similar line, this future group failed to deliver the numbers, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a very competitive market to be in. So the
Mm-hmm.
OPM will not exceed more than, let's say, 7 to 8% in the worst case scenario.
Right, right.
Who they will sustain? That is one question. Another one, because mostly the people which I came across associated with this franchisee model, they make
Mm-hmm.
too much money on the franchises, selling only the franchisee models. But
Mm-hmm.
how long it will sustain? That is big question for me,
Mm-hmm.
as a viewer from outside. But you can
Right,
also check
right,
from your end.
right, right. Yeah, I
लोग
mean,
क्या
like these.
लोग
Yeah,
क्या
sorry.
करते हैं ओनली फ्रेंचाइजी बेचने के लिए इंटरेस्टेड रहते हैं आई नो सो मेनी पीपल इवन यू
Mm-hmm.
इफ यू गो टू महाराष्ट्र देयर इज लॉट ऑफ टी में जो चाय बनाने वाले हैं ना वो भी अपनी अपनी फ्रेंचाइजी बेचते विद देयर ब्रांड
Right,
नेम
right, right,
बट नथिंग
right, right.
इनसाइड
You're right.
एब्सोल्युटली
Mm-hmm.
नथिंग इनसाइड
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and surprisingly,
वो
they
उस
all will
डायरेक्शन
have
में
the
नहीं होना
same
चाहिए सब
tagline, Amritulla
Mm-hmm.
Chai.
हाँ वो सब ऐसा ही
So they
तो
make
ये ना
more
ये
money on the
ये
royalty part rather than the business part. That's
यार
what
ये
you're
सब
saying.
जगह पे होता है मोबाइल का फ्रेंचाइजी निकालो बेचो चाय का फ्रेंचाइजी
Mm-hmm.
निकालो बेचो
Mm-hmm.
देन कुछ
Mm-hmm.
छोटा सा बर्गर का बना लिया कुछ इंडियन ब्रांड इंडियन टच उसका फ्रेंचाइजी बेचो तो वो लॉन्ग टर्म पे आई डाउट के वो चलता है क्योंकि वो बहुत
Yeah,
डिस्प्यूट होते हैं बाद
yeah, but
अगर वो
here what?
इथिकल नहीं है प्रमोटर तो बहुत डिस्प्यूट होते हैं
Yeah, your point is correct, but I think here in this case, Magson is a little bit different in terms of number of years it is already in the market. 15 years almost, 14 years. So from that angle, if we see, they are able to sustain that model till now, and they're not expanding like Future Group, right? At certain point, Future Group just like opening like anything.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we need to see
So
how they will
it's also
utilize
about
the
the
IPO cash.
leverage,
Yeah,
right?
how
The Future Group went down just because they were over leveraged.
right. So how they will utilize the IPO cash? Please keep an eye on that, and that
Yes,
will
yes.
drive your revenue part from that angle.
Right, right.
Okay, so guys, if you have more questions, please put in the chat, and then let's take a maybe 5-10 minutes break, and then meet again. 4:20 should be fine for everybody.
Early is better.
4:08 तो हो चुका है.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just take a मतलब quick break, maybe 5-10
No.
minutes, and then
Yeah.
join back. Yeah, thanks a lot, Shubham.
बंद कर बेटा दे बंद कर